YouTube, what's up? Riz here with another NFL draft podcast covering news, rumors, stock reports, stuff like that today. Leading up to the combine, it's coming right up. Can't wait for that. Like I said before, I think combine numbers are going to change rankings a little bit this year. Not just for me, I think that's how experts are feeling too. I never really change my rankings based off the combine numbers, but everybody is so closely graded this year. A lot of great talent, a lot of great skill in this draft. I think that it's going to change rankings a little bit just because how closely everybody is graded. So I'm excited for that. As far as my big board, how things are changing up for me, if you saw my big board videos, I believe I had Jamal Adams, safety LSU, at number 2, and then Leonard Fournette, running back LSU, two LSU guys at number 3. I kind of been back and forth switching those guys. I moved Fournette ahead of Adams because Fournette's just an instant impact guy for your team. You don't see a running back like him every day, so he's just that skilled. And then I kind of want to put Adams back at 2 just because, I went over this before, but he's a total package safety. I expect him to be a Pro Bowler. You don't see a guy like that every day either. Also, he can play corner at a pretty high level, I believe. Just the way he plays, you can see it. Reminds you of Jalen Ramsey from last year, who was my number 1 player in the draft. More of a corner. I say Adams more of a safety. Pretty much a lock at starting at safety day 1. But Ramsey, who was my number 1 player, is actually graded under this year's Jamal Adams, and he's not even number 1 player. So that shows how good this year's draft is. A couple risers. Gerard Davis, middle linebacker, Florida. Just that controller of that great Florida defense. Really like that about him. Fits on a lot of teams, too. That helps him out. He's rising up because of that. Have him going to the Raiders in my mock draft. Garrett Bowles, offensive lineman, Utah. Very consistent offensive lineman. Looks very good on film. Ryan Ramczyk, a faller, just because teams are concerned about his injury. So that makes Bowles rise a little bit, but not just because of that, because of his play mainly. Christian McCaffrey is another the Stanford running back everybody knows. Another guy that's rising a little bit for me. Today's league features more receiving running backs, so those guys are likely to be taken earlier than that classic old school running back. So guys like Kamara and McCaffrey, obviously Cook's a good receiving running back, but Kamara and McCaffrey are kind of rising because of that receiving threat they hold. Potential first-round guys that I'm higher on than most. Kamara, again, most people are starting to have him in the first round, but a guy that could potentially go second round that I have graded as a first-round prospect. Budda Baker, I don't really see anybody that grades him as a first-round prospect. I do. I don't think he's going to go first round, but the safety out of Washington, very good if you watch his tape. The reason he's not is because his height. You got 2 Washington guys are getting hurt, draft stocks getting hurt, I guess you can say, because of their size. Budda Baker, the safety, because of his height, and Sidney Jones, the corner, because of his weight, who is my number 1 corner, by the way. But I really like Budda Baker, all over the place. Great player. I wouldn't be surprised if he went first round. I don't think he will. I think he should, and I wouldn't be surprised if he did, because some teams got to see what he can do. Shouldn't matter about his height. Patrick Mahomes, the second Texas Tech quarterback. I'm a little higher on him than most. I think he goes in the first round just because he's good, and because the quarterbacks are overdrafted. So I think since they're overdrafted, he deserves to be in the discussion in the first round. I see a fit for the Texans. Another guy, DeMarcus Walker, the leader in Power 5 sacks. So against good teams is what that means. He is the leader in this draft class. Derek Barnett and Jordan Willis are on that list. So DeMarcus Walker gets to the quarterback. That's his job. Why is nobody saying he's a first rounder? Pretty mind-blowing to me. Early second I can live with, but people are talking mid to late second, possibly third, which is crazy to me. Zay Jones, another guy I think is a late first round prospect. When we see receivers not transition well into the NFL, it's mainly because they can't get open, route running, stuff like that. Getting open involves route running and speed. Zay Jones led the nation in receptions. He had a ridiculous amount. He goes up and catches the ball. He's got good speed for his size. So he's got everything there is. He's going to get open. So there's really not much risk. For him. A lot of receivers come at risk these last few years in today's NFL. So him being a non-risky guy and obviously can make plays makes him a late first round, maybe early second prospect, and he could go a little later than that. Other sleepers that I like, I can't wait to see in the combine. Marlon Mack, running back from South Florida. For his size, he's very fast in the field. Curious to see what he runs. I think he's more of a guy that is. I think he's faster on the field in game than he is in a 40. I still think he runs better than people expect, but that's a guy that's very good on the field, very good tape. Carlos Henderson, all-purpose yards leader in the nation. Almost looks like a running back after he catches the ball. After the catch, he's very elusive, very good. Kind of Antonio Brown, Randall Cobb-ish. That's what I want to compare him to. Like, if you put those two guys together, I'm not saying he's going to be as good as those guys, but I think he has potential to be better than Randall Cobb. I think he's an easy second-round player. Could go a little later than that. Chidobe Awuzie, the corner from Colorado, he's on the rise because he can play corner, he can play nickel, he can play safety. Very athletic guy. Does have some flaws, but since he can do so many things, rumors are that he may go second round. Kind of went from an underrated guy for me to, I don't want to say overrated, but I thought he was early third. I thought he was going to go later than that, but now we're hearing he may go second. So, if he can do all those things for you, he's definitely a solid player. Another guy, Eddie Jackson, safety of Alabama. As soon as I put this guy's tape on, I was just blown away. He broke his leg last year, but he's supposed to work out in the combine, which is excellent. I would see him as a late first, early second if they didn't come with that injury, but he should go second, could go third. That would be a steal. Another safety, Tedrick Thompson, another Colorado guy. The guy gets interceptions. Guy knows how to get the ball in his hands. So guys like that, I don't see how he gets out of the third round, but I guess he could. He's a sleeper for me and knows how to attack the ball. I guess tackling is a concern. Another safety that's kind of falling for me is Justin Evans. Talked about this before. Coverage skills, round one player, no doubt. But tackling, he has so many bad missed tackles that it's like I said, coverage skill. Just looking at coverage first round. If you're just looking at tackling, it's probably it's late or undrafted. So where do you draft that guy? Tremendous athlete, can return too. But where do you draft that guy? I'm starting to move some of those other safeties ahead of him, like Eddie Jackson and Obi Melifonwu, who's supposed to test well, the UConn safety, because I'm not really sure. I think they're going to be split on Justin Evans. I think we're going to be split. Some guys are going to have him second round. Some guys are going to have him maybe fourth, fifth. So it's going to be really interesting to see. Love watching him play for the most part, though. Obviously a good athlete. If you follow our Twitter, then you've probably seen some of these stuff I'm talking about. I always tweet out lists, and this next one, boomer bust prospects for me. Deshaun Kaiser is my number one boomer bust prospect. He's very raw, should have stayed another year. He shows flashes of potential, that shows great flashes, and then basically he's very inconsistent. He has the tools there, very inconsistent. Now Brian Kelly's not good at developing quarterbacks, so that could be the problem. Like 5 years from now, we can be saying Kaiser is the best one in this class clearly, or we can be saying he's by far the worst one out of the discussion for first rounders. It's really a boomer bust guy. I think it depends on team for me. Each team's going to have way different quarterback rankings. Back to Mahomes. I think Mahomes, Kaiser similar because the deep ball is a strength of theirs. So a team like the Texans that want to do that, have a deep ball guy, have DeAndre Hopkins, Will Fuller, deep ball guys. Kaiser and Mahomes are probably their 1 and 2s, even though they may not be mine. Number one, ranked 2 quarterback for somebody like the Texans. That might be their top guys. Probably should be. It's just a fit. And Kaiser happened to be better last year with Will Fuller, who's on the Texans. So if Texans somehow can get Kaiser, even though I'm not that high on Kaiser, I would be high on that pick right there. So it depends on the team. And yeah, back to Mahomes again. Another guy I've been flipping up and down, like second quarterback, third quarterback. He's just the guy I have that feeling about. Usually my feelings are pretty on when we're talking draft, and I just have a good feeling about Mahomes. He has the tools there, has experience unlike these other guys, besides Watson. So really like Mahomes, but he's not in my boomer bust. Back to my boomer bust prospects. Deontay Foreman, running back from Texas. Huge holes at Texas. That's why he had so many yards. But we can't sit here and say if he didn't have holes, would he be good or bad? We don't know. It's It's a risky guy, a risky prospect. Also, fumbling was an issue, 6 fumbles, but he did play with the broken hand. So it's a lot of stuff we don't know about him. So he could be good, he could be bad. We don't. It's a risky one. I think he goes second round, but we're gonna have to wait and see on him. Basically, Zach Cunningham, linebacker from Vanderbilt, can play middle, can play outside, um, can cover very well for a linebacker. Thing about him is he's involved in so many plays. He's involved in like every play on defense. He gets a lot of tackles because he's involved in every play. Gets a ridiculous amount of tackles, but also misses a ridiculous amount of tackles. Is that because he's involved in every play, or is he not going to be able to tackle the next level? Another guy with question marks around him. I think he's a good player. I think he's a first-round player, but another boomer bust prospect for me. Quincy Wilson, another one, gets the job done. Can play man zone equally well at Florida on a good defense. Technique is not there. I talked about this before. Technique is not all there. If he gets the job done, he gets the job done. But if his technique's not there, is he going to get beat by NFL top-tier receivers? We don't know. Rumors around the league saying his stock's falling a little bit because of this reason, which I talked about in the past. So I'm glad to start seeing that people are agreeing. Adoree Jackson is another boomer bust. Very raw corner. As a straight-up corner prospect, I think he may be third-round talent. Has potential at corner. But if you factor in his athleticism, his returning ability, he can play receiver. I think that bumps him up to a second round. But, you're drafting a guy that early because of the position he plays. He plays corner. So, boomer bust guy, very raw. Plenty more boomer bust guys, but going to keep going here. Another guy on the rise for me is Kareem Hunt, Toledo running back. We talked about Foreman, had his fumbles. A lot of these running backs in the draft had some bad fumbles. McCaffrey, not one of those guys. He didn't fumble. But Kareem Hunt did not have one fumble. Not one fumble, and he's one of the better receiving running backs in this draft. He played against weak competition at Toledo. That's really the only flaw. Great receiving ability, great ball security. Kareem Hunt on the rise. I can see him sneaking up in the second round. Really like him. Really like him a lot. He should run well at the combine. Running backs, I'm really excited to see at the combine. It's a great running back class, and a scout was interviewed in the NFL. They asked him what is the best position group in this class, and he said running back. As of now, the team he scouts for, has 30 draftable running backs, which is insane. I'm sure it won't be 30 come draft night, but 30 is ridiculous. Shows how good this class is. The only weakness in this class is no really elite speed, which we don't really see that many elite running backs with that crazy speed. And fumbling, like I said, some of these guys fumble a little too much, but other than that, solid running backs. Main thing is hit the hole. A lot of guys in the league do not work out because they do not know how to hit the hole correctly. A lot of these guys really know how to do that. So really excited about this running back class. More on the stock report. Just one other guy I kind of want to go over is Cam Robinson, who I actually talked about. Experts and people were saying he's a first-round lineman, and I didn't really believe. Late first round I'd be okay with, but if you watch our other mock drafts in the comments, I kind of was arguing with people about this, why I didn't have him in the first round. It's because he's very inconsistent. Yeah, he plays against some of the best in the SEC. Very inconsistent guy. And now it's starting to come out that teams see he's inconsistent and may not go first round. So that is the news about Cam Robinson. And just a couple team rumors, news about teams for the draft I want to go over. The Bears are rumored. They have the 3rd overall pick. They're rumored to be either going, it's so early to tell, but I trust the sources. For now, Trubisky and Kaiser are really the 2 options for the Bears. They're leaning towards taking one of those, whoever's there at 3. So that is, I figured that already, but that's the rumors right now, which I trust the sources, and it is early, so things can change. The combine's going to change some stuff, but I don't know if I see either one fitting with the Bears because Trubisky, both of them neither have good experience, really. They both can be good. I think Trubisky's more ready now, even though he only played 1 year. The thing is, are those guys going to be developed by the time? Are they going to be developed, and is John Fox and is that staff still going to be there? Do they want to draft a guy that's not even going to be their quarterback? Because if they get those guys, they might be bad for a couple more years, and then are they going to be fired? Do you want to go in that direction? I know it's the GM's choice mainly, but I mean, he can get fired as well, so it's tough. It's tough for, I mean, personally, which a lot of people won't agree with this. For the Bears, I see Deshaun Watson. He's a winner. I think on them talent, he's the best one too. But the main thing, he's a winner. The thing with the Bears is we seen them be in games, and they kind of were taken out of them at the end by their quarterback. And a guy like Watson, he wins games. He's clutch. He knows how to do it all. So I just see Watson on the Bears. I think they can be good pretty quickly if they draft Watson, but I don't see them doing that at 3. I think best option is trading back and getting him. That's even better. You get picks, but I think even taking him at 3 is good. I would like that. I think Jamal Adams is the other option that I would grade at a high. It would be a high grade for me if the Bears took Jamal Adams. Really, for me, it's Jamal Adams or Deshaun Watson right now. But rumors are leaning towards Trubisky or Kaiser. Still got a lot of time till the draft. Last team I wanted to touch up on, just new rumors. Cowboys picking 28th. Pretty obvious, but they plan on going defense unless John Ross or Zay Jones are there. Then they're going to think about those two guys. They're really high on those two guys. They're really going to evaluate those two guys more. See if they can fit with the team. See if they're better than any defensive guy on the board. But most likely going defense. I actually had the Cowboys taking receiver in one of the old mocks. Kind of got a lot of hate for that, but it's definitely an option. Definitely an option. You got to throw to somebody else besides Dez. John Ross or Zay Jones would make that offense very scary, but the reason they weren't in the Super Bowl was because defense. So likely to go defense. That'll do it for this video. We're going to keep ripping out some podcasts, more mock drafts. Please follow our Twitter at frogs_angels, tweeting stuff like what I covered in this podcast all the time. And thanks for watching. Goodbye.